This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is smoke and fire. This is high stakes and wild cards. This is family and tradition. This is everything on the line. This is it. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas. The South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now. LVMS.com.
We have 11 amazing restaurants featuring a wide variety for every price range and appetite. South Point's Garden Buffet has something for everyone at unbeatable prices. Or, if hunger strikes in the middle of the night, join us at Coronado Cafe. The American menu offers breakfast, lunch, or dinner 24 hours a day, plus a Chinese kitchen for authentic Chinese dishes from 11 a.m. to 11 p.m. From steak and eggs to wonton soup, it's fast and friendly service 24/7. When you need a quick pick-me-up, you can find it at our state-of-the-art Starbucks just inside the main South Point entrance. Order ahead with the Starbucks app for easy mobile order pickups. Or enjoy your favorites in the relaxing dining area anytime, day or night. If you love Mexican food, Baja Miguel's has all of your south-of-the-border favorites. There are dozens of classics to choose from, like fajitas, ceviche, chimichangas, tacos, and more. And for spirit lovers, Baja's colorful non-smoking tequila bar is right outside.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book.
Sports by the book. Sports by the book, South Point Studio.
We don't make stuff up here.
I would only play the Pirates team total going under.
What the hell happened to Minnesota's pitching?
This total has really crashed without plumbing the lineup.
I think this number's too high, but they're laying me the 6.
Oh, I know.
Caitlin Clark drives handle on the WNBA.
Never mind all these Mickey Mouse other stations. We are giving you hands-on information.
It's Sports by the Book at the South Point Studio. Here's Jeff Parles and Alex White.
Good morning. Welcome in. It is Sports by the Book here at the South Point Studio. It is September 4th.
Woo.
We have been circling September 4th for months now because, Alex White, we know it's the opener of the NFL season. We've made it.
I'm excited. 2025. A lot of good teams. Can't wait to see the game tonight, the game tomorrow, and a full slate on Sunday. So hopefully everybody's got their lineup set if you're in some fantasy football leagues, and we're off and running here today on this Thursday.
I actually, the under cashes very quickly on mention of fantasy football here in the show today.
You know why that is? Because not one, but 2 leagues, I get messages yesterday that the draft is tonight. I had one at 7 p.m. and one at 8 p.m.
And they're not even going to get it in for...
No, last night. It was.
Oh, okay.
So it's on my mind.
Oh, okay.
Fresh.
Okay.
Yeah.
I thought the way you said that, I thought it was like, oh, it's tonight. They're missing opening night. What are we doing here?
Yeah. No, they got it done just the day before.
All right. Well, perfect. Hey, look, as long as it's in by game time, it doesn't matter. Doesn't matter to me on that. Real quick, our guy Dwayne Colucci is going to be joining us momentarily from up at the Rampart here today. Just real quick, here at the South Point, and this is now market high on this game tonight, and we'll get Dwayne's thoughts in a second. Dallas is an 8.5-point underdog now. One-way traffic on the Birds tonight in Philadelphia. The total has moved up 1.5 points as well to 48. Those are the updated numbers as of this current moment, Alex White.
Pretty crazy, right? See the first game here, an NFL game, the Dallas Cowboys getting 8.5 division. Man, there's got to be a buyback point here, so...
We'll see.
Yeah, we'll talk it through.
We did see 9 at circa 2 days ago, and that was quickly bought back down all the way to 8. I didn't even notice it got to 9. I would have probably taken the 9 if I had noticed it. All right, let's bring him in. Our good friend joining us from the Rampart, ready to go on opening day. And it's very appropriate that we bring in our resident Cowboy fan as well here on opening night with the Cowboys involved. Our guy, Dwayne Colucci, race and sportsbook director up at the Rampart Casino in lovely Summerlin, Las Vegas. DC, good morning. How you feeling? How you feeling today?
Feeling ready for football. What else? You know, Jeff, that's how we do it here at the Rampart in South Point. All geared up, especially with my boys playing tonight. And hopefully a good showing. You know, hopefully Dak Prescott is back. CD is back. Diggs a little action on the defensive side, put the Parsons parity behind us, and let's move on and play some good divisional football in the NFC East. It's going to be a tough one tonight, though. Like you said, one-way money. I mean, I'm looking at the ticket count here. It's somewhat ridiculous at this point, 5-1. Also the line movement has been incredible. At one point, this game was 6.5, and I was pleading with the market to bet the Eagles, but now I'm biting my tongue because it's just one-way money, and it's all Eagle money, and rightfully so. I mean, they're the world champions. Hurts is unbelievable. A.J. Brown, so many different weapons, and definitely going to make a bid at a possible 2 in a row world championships. So definitely the Eagles are the team to beat on the NFC side at the start of the season, and we'll see if Dallas could compete. They have a lot of tough games in their own division and outside of the division, but the schedule isn't too bad, in my opinion. I think it's a little more favorable than it was in the past few seasons for Dallas, but, their level of play remains to be seen, how the locker room is with a new head coach. Jerry Jones always has his hands in everything, so it makes it so difficult as a Cowboy fan and as a Cowboy consumer to back them. But it's very appealing right now, Jeff. I mean, you look at it, you could tease this team up to 14.5 with games later in the week, even some college games. And I think that's where you're going to see some of the Cowboy money finally come in.
I'm not opposed to that. Teaser right there.
14.5 if you tease Dallas up tonight on
in
this
an
one.
NFC division rivalry game.
Yeah.
So, it's very difficult. The NFC is spread pretty consistent this year. You see one division with Detroit, Bears, Green Bay now with Parsons, Minnesota, very tough division. Washington, Philadelphia, very tough. The Giants are improved. We don't know what Dallas is going to bring to the table. The West, wide open. San Francisco wants to get back to where they were. Rams are very competitive. Seattle, new quarterback, what have you. And, Tampa looks very good, in my opinion, but Atlanta is solid. So many different teams that you could go a route of an upset in the NFC this year.
Dwayne, the total is very interesting to me in this one. I made it higher. Of course, that is more mid-season form, so I don't want to just jump in on the over. But both defenses, we have question marks. I mean, including even the champs with their secondary now. So what would you suggest with this? Because we've seen a lot of starters throughout the preseason, but not from these two teams here.
Yeah, you got to exploit that secondary, definitely, Alex. And you're seeing in the first two games in the market, Thursday and Friday, we're seeing unusual characteristics of betting over. Usually people think the offenses will be tentative, and you see some under money. We opened this game up at 46.5, and now it's up to 48. And I also believe the game tomorrow night has been bet up. So we're seeing a lot of people that are questioning defenses in these two big matchups. And I definitely think that Dallas, with their passing game, if they could protect that, can exploit that secondary. But what is Dallas's defense going to bring to the table, Alex? If they just keep moving the ball, the Eagles, and playing, with Hurts, drop back, throw a little swing pass, then go deep down the middle, it's going to be so difficult for Dallas to control the Philadelphia offense. So I think Jalen Hurts could have a big game. I think Dak Prescott could have a big game. It's just a matter of how many butterflies are out there. And every Eagle fans are going to be going crazy. You know that. They're going to be off the hook, especially for this game. So a very tough scenario for Dallas. But, they can move the ball. That's what the thing is. And exploit that secondary of the Eagles, which is now somewhat depleted, not as good as it was last year. Got to get the ball, like I said, to CD. That's the factor.
Dwayne, just a quick question on the spread here, because I don't think any of us expected it to get this high, and it's only 10:06 in the morning. We got another.
Oh, I did. I did. Come on, Jeff. I expected it to get real high.
That's a big number.
Dallas has nothing, Jeff. And when you come in confusion, when you come into the season in mass confusion, your best defensive player wants nothing to do with the team. He comes out and says that before the last preseason game. They didn't get going until that last preseason game. New coaching staff. You're playing the world champion Eagles. It definitely feels like it could have got to this 8-point level, especially with the 6.5 opener. You knew it was going to get to 7.5. Now it's just a matter of how high does it go, and when do you start to get that buyback? When you have, somebody sharp's got 6.5. So you got a 2-point middle now over a key number of 7. eventually you're going to see some of the guys come back and bet the Cowboys. It's just a matter of when are you going to see that money? I kind of anticipated it would get there, Jeff. I understand your thought process, but the consumers are seeing one-way action. Dallas is a wounded, let's say, animal out there, and definitely an eagle will swipe you right up and eat you. So this is a prime spot for the Eagles to get going and get off on the right spot. Tough for the Cowboys today, very tough. But I anticipated a ton of money, but not what I'm seeing here. Finally now we're starting to see some Cowboy money, but not much.
I think you just answered where I was going to go there, Dwayne, of when are we going to start seeing the Dallas money come in? And you just said it there. Finally, at least a little trickle on the Cowboys at 8.5.
A sprinkle.
Yeah. Dwayne, I want to go to tomorrow. You mentioned it earlier. These games are getting bet a little bit differently total wise. And you mentioned it with the Kansas City and the Los Angeles Charger game down in Sao Paulo, Brazil. Of course, throw out the record books when teams play in the country of Brazil in our 1-game sample size. But I wonder, Dwayne, and I wonder your thoughts on this. Last year, Philly and Green Bay went down there, and the game was in the 60s. It was a ridiculously high-scoring game. It was a fast track. Obviously, both of those defenses ended up being top-flight defenses by the end of the season. Do you think that's what's driving the market here, or do you think it's something else that's driving the market on this total being bet up?
I guess you have to use the sample size, Jeff. Like you said, it was a track meet last year. Game is up 2.5. I mean, we opened at 44, and now it's at 46.5. You know what's shocking to me is that they pushed the Chiefs to the key number. Everybody can't wait to bet against the Chiefs this year. Opened at 2.5, and now it's up to 3. So, this might be a good spot for the Chiefs. I'll be honest with you. I think the Chargers, they're coming in, but the expectations aren't as high as last year, in my opinion. So that's why you're seeing the Kansas City money. But I do believe, like you said, touching back on the total, that it's more of the sample from last year when you had these two massive defenses playing against each other, and all of a sudden you had 60 points up on the board. That the Chiefs could move the ball. The Chargers definitely have a decent offense. Herbert is an excellent quarterback. This is another division rivalry. I think it's going to be a little more low scoring than it was last year in Brazil. That's just my opinion. I think this is a good spot at the Chiefs, for the Chiefs, but I like it at 2.5 better than 3.
Dwayne, 3 right there. You mentioned it, division game. There's a couple other dogs that have definitely caught my eye. I mean, getting 3.5 with Carolina against the Jags. You can get points with the Raiders. Now they do have to travel across the country, facing the Patriots. Any dogs jump out to you or that you've already bet on for this week?
I'll be honest, Alex, I think that's the trap. I mean, I like the Giants a little, and it's hard for me to say that, but I think that the trap is actually the Raiders. Everybody's betting the Raiders, and I don't know what it's based on. I think New England really wants to get Drake May off on the right, foot and possibly open it up, show what defense they have. I mean, 2.5, I think that's definitely coverable, but the Raiders are appealing. I mean, we know we're going to get plied with Raider money here in Las Vegas. That's just how it is, and they definitely have a chance this year. They will be improved. They have much better quarterback, much better coaching staff, and Pete Carroll knows how to win these games, but I think it's so tough to travel from Las Vegas to New England opening week. I like the Patriots a little, but I understand the Raider money. I know you're all over the Raiders, Alex, and rightfully so. You brought up a ton of good points. I listen to the show constantly, especially when you and your dad are on. No slight to Jeff, but definitely I think the Raiders will be improved this year, but I don't know if these teams improve right away. It's the same thing with the Giants now. You're seeing it off a key number from 7 to 6. That makes me very leery that all the public money is on the Giants. And what's it based on? Why are you betting against Jaden Daniels? You got McLaurin in there now. And, I know the Giants are going to be much improved, especially that defensive line. But the whole key there is the offense. Russell Wilson has to get the ball to Neighbors. He's going to have a very short string. I'm telling you right now, Jackson Dart may be the starter by week 5 or 6 if the Giants play similar to last year and get off to a terrible start. So keep that in mind. I do like the Giants a little, but I'm not enamored with all this money on them currently. That's one of the games I was looking at. I did get down on the Eagles at 6.5. I did like that opening number. I thought it it would definitely get higher. We spoke about that already, though. I don't want to beat a dead horse. You're seeing tons of money on the Cardinals. How awful are the Saints going to be this year? You're looking at a 6.5-point favorite going to New Orleans. Definitely the market is shaded all the way to the Cardinals, and we're seeing the ticket count at 4-1 here at the Rampart in South Point. Money on this game, guys, 8-1. 8-1. So this is one of the games and one of the teams that we're going to continuously have to take down this year. The Saints are going to be, one of my favorites and Chris's favorites this year because week in and week out, the public is going to bet against this team. Panthers, the money is 5-1 on the Jaguars, so maybe definitely the Panthers have a chance, Alex. Ticket count also is over 3-1, almost 4-1 in that game. Everybody is jumping on the home team, hoping that Lawrence could finally, get past that hump, but their offense doesn't look too good to me. So that's a spot where you definitely can look at Carolina. And, we have a great matchup on Sunday night and Monday night. Two fabulous, fabulous matchups. Even the late game Rams and Texans, I'm looking at that game. Ticket count is high on the Rams. Money isn't as high, but it is high on the Rams, -3 at the Rampart in South Point. I think that's a marquee matchup, and it's going to be a measuring stick. Even though it's week 1, we're going to see how good this Ram offense is, how solid Stafford could be. And we know CJ wants to improve on last year. Can he get the ball to Nico without Tank there? It's going to be interesting. I think he has other complementary receivers, though. I think the Texans could be a play with +3 there opening week, but the Rams are definitely a solid possible playoff team. Texans are a lock, basically, in the division, barring massive injuries there, in my opinion. So this is a marquee matchup. Pick them on the Bills and Ravens. We'll see if Lamar can finally get it done this year. But, the Bills are this is one of their more difficult games because you look at that division and you could possibly see 6 easy victories if everything goes correctly and falls into place for the Buffalo Bills. So this is a key game for the Ravens. Keep that in mind. Baltimore's division is much tougher, and to stay ahead of the Bills, they have to win this game. I like Baltimore in this matchup.
Again, pick a lot of the market actually has already taken Baltimore to a favorite as well. So you guys may be on the way to doing that at some point in the near future. I do want to ask you about one more Sunday game, Dwayne, and that is, of course, the new home for Micah Parsons, and that's the Packers hosting the Lions. This is even before the Parsons trade was one of the more interesting movers of the summer, as it was, because you guys opened this 1, and it went to 2.5 on June 19th. Parsons wasn't traded until a week ago, and it still went down to 2 and went back to 2.5 after the deal. This is the opposite of those other games. The total's gone down, 49.5 to 47 on this one, Dwayne.
Yeah, and I think the Lions are a play here. I'm not sold. Matt LaFleur is still the coach of the Packers. He'll find a way to lose. There's tons of pressure on Jordan Love. A defensive player is not going to move the line unless it's Lawrence Taylor, Reggie White, etc. Parsons sat out the whole preseason. You don't know if he has an injury or not. He definitely will make an immense impact and help this Packer defense. That is in no question. But keep in mind, the Lions were banged up last year, 90% of the season, especially down the stretch. The defense got exposed against Jaden Daniels. You watch it now. It's going to be much improved. I think Detroit with the points is definitely a play here. I'm so surprised at this plethora of Packer money just coming in and plying us. And, I'm looking at it right now. Now the Lion money is starting to come in, believe it or not. I think this line will definitely end closer to pick 'em, in my opinion. They still have a high-octane offense, the Lions. They're so well coached. I definitely think Campbell wants to make a statement this year, and they're going to be much improved. This is the year where not everybody's riding the Lions. This is where they'll pop up and surprise you.
Dwayne, last week somebody tweeted, because you gave us some thoughts on some college games, and you were right on with all 3 games we talked about. So I'm going to go through a couple of these here with you. I want to start off with Michigan and Oklahoma. Oklahoma a favorite at home here. Of course, we know Bryce Underwood making his first road start now in college. Any thoughts on this one going into the weekend?
That's a very tough matchup, Alex. I think I would slightly look at Oklahoma. I mean, I don't know what to make of this game because when you have these big matchups, like I said early in the season, you don't know which offenses are going to be stale, which are going to be riding high. You're seeing the spread 5 at the Rampart and South Point. Right now the money is riding on. Let me see right here. Well, it's pretty good two-way action. I'll be honest with you. There isn't much going on the ticket count. It's slightly in favor of Michigan. Some of the sharps took Michigan, with the points early on. I think Oklahoma, at home is very difficult, but Michigan could be ready. I really don't have an opinion. When you see 5, Alex, it's such a dead number, in my opinion. You have to tease this game either one way or the other. Total is at 45 on this game, which I think is kind of low. Kind of favors Michigan style, in my opinion. So, I'll probably lay off this game. If I had a gun to my head, though, I would take Oklahoma.
I want to go to a battle of two Texas teams. SMU beat up on the power of East Texas A&M last week. What a powerhouse that squad is. Baylor was, their defense was exposed again against the high vaunted running attack of Auburn. Dwayne, this has been an interestingly bet game. You guys opened 3.5. They've taken you through 3. It's now 2.5 with the Ponies at home in Dallas against Baylor with a total of 64.5 on this one.
Yeah, and the ticket count is real close on this one as well, Jeff. I'm not sold. Baylor got exposed, like you said. That defense is horrible. I would probably take SMU in this game. I mean, under 3, definitely appealing. 2.5. And you can see how the total is 64.5. So they're telling you that SMU will be able to move the ball. I think they'll play a little ball control here. I love laying under a field goal in this matchup. Baylor will be looking to bounce back. Don't get me wrong. It was a higher quality opponent maybe last week, but SMU is riding high off that blowout. I would take SMU in this game.
Dwayne, I just want to go back really quick. NFL with the props, and now I know it's crazy, but it's the world we live in now. It almost looks like Super Bowl week after week. How has it been up at your shop now that you guys and Chris here at South Point have put up props for all these standalone NFL games?
It's been solid. I'll tell you the truth. We have to be competitive with the market. And definitely Chris has been putting up daily parlayable player props. So keep that in mind. We also have that now with some of the baseball players. And we do all the singular games. We've done that, Alex. And it's definitely a market attraction when you have players and props. That's what everybody wants, especially the younger generation. It's not just sharps anymore. You want to create as much handle as possible. And that's what you're looking for as a bookmaker. And Chris does a fabulous job. Also, time is ticking on this $25,000 jackpot card. Get those in. Only $5 a piece. No point spread. That's another tool that we use to create handle. It's a huge jackpot. It's one of the best deals in town. Anything over the 25 that we book goes into the pot. So that's another fabulous marketing tool that we use at the Rampart and South Point. But player props are so popular now, Alex. You want to bet on CD Lamb. You want to bet on Dak Prescott. You want to bet on Jalen Hurts, especially opening week. You just don't want to be vanilla and bet on the sides and the totals and the money lines. You want to get some teaser action going. It's all about betting on sports. We want to enhance the customers, we want to attract the customers and enhance their attention on these games, especially the standalone games. You see the names up there, Devontae, A.J. Brown, Saquon, Dak, CD. It's all about that. This is what we're looking for, and we're garnering a lot of handle. It's a great, great marketing tool at the Rampart and South Point. So come and see us. We got player props. We got parlayable player props. And we got the college football full slate up. We got all the money lines up in the NFL. Come and see us. That's definitely a great, great experience at the Rampart and South Point when you're joining us for the college football and NFL seasons.
Alex has all the cards in her hand. The return of my favorite card, the reverse teaser card that I still have never won, but will eventually win at some point. Because whenever that moment comes, Dwayne, it will be a glorious moment in time. But DC, before we let you go,
I love it.
Before we let you go, do you have anything in the horses this weekend or today?
Yeah, sure. Let's get something going today, Jeff. That's great. I have Kentucky Downs. Race 9, which is the feature race. I'm going to be boxing the 5, Vive Vouve. I hope I said that right. It's Viveuve. That's a Joe Sharp horse. He's got Brian Hernandez. Brian Hernandez, I mean, I can't say enough about this guy, and everybody knows him from Mystic Dan, Torpedo Anna. The guy is a tremendously talented rider. Joe Sharp has had a tremendous summer. His training has been phenomenal, especially at Saratoga. Now Saratoga's over. He's slightly moving over. You're going to see horses at Keeneland, Churchill Downs, and Kentucky Downs today. I'm going to box the number 5 with the 6, Watchtower. Richard Ball, another fabulous conditioner. I know this man personally. He loves the sport. He loves the game. And, you saw his horse we gave out. We were all over Egg Bullet last weekend. Tremendous filly sprinter. Watchtower today is 15-1. So keep your eye on this. We are boxing him with the favorite, which is Viveuve, Joe Sharp. Richard Baltus exact the box today, 9th race at Kentucky Downs. Kentucky Downs has fabulous purses, big fields. You're going to get your money's worth there. So there's only a few days left in the meet, guys. Continue on betting at Kentucky Downs, and let's cash some tickets. I mean, let's see if SMU could get it done. We're going to, I guess, root for the Cowboys, but I have the Eagles minus 6.5. So I'm in a tough position. I'm all about making money, guys. That's what's great about this show. We love, I know Chris loves the Steelers. I love the Cowboys, but when they're beatable, we have to be honest with you and give you our concise opinion. And all this information comes straight from the counter. Remember that. The ticket counts, the money counts. That's coming straight from the counter. We don't play any games here. You don't hear any other shows talk about that either. Remember that, guys. So definitely we're giving out great information. Chris did it Monday. I'm doing it here Thursday. So let's hope that we help you guys and guide you in the right direction. Even though, we're against you, we're still going to give you our honest opinions and tell you where the money is flowing and what's going on here at the Rampart and at the South Point.
He's Dwayne Colucci, race and sportsbook director up at the Rampart NY Bookie. Dwayne on the tweets. DC, I'll see you on Sunday morning. That sound like a plan?
Definitely, Jeff.
Yep.
It was great seeing your family, great seeing your wife. Always join us. The Rampart is a great viewing experience. Jeff will tell you we got the great food amenities opening up. Ipazzi is open already, and it's unbelievable. Also, Fabio's going to be making pizzas right next to Ipazzi. We're going to have a pizza outlet now, which we finally have. We have Nomois from Manhattan, Chinatown, 105 years. That's opening mid-September. Jade is still here, fabulous. Hawthorne Grill, awesome steaks. We're going to also have more. We're going to have an oyster bar similar to the South Point, which definitely throws our hat in the ring. We're going to have tacos and hamburgers later in the year. Just all the food amenities are popping off here at the Rampart. Come and join me. Try them out. We got our $500 cash drawing also each and every Tuesday. All you have to do when betting on football, swipe your rewards card and we'll take care of you. You have entrance fee. You have entrance tickets then into that $500 drawing. And just come into the sports book. It will be posted at the latest by Wednesday morning. The winners each and every week. $500 cash, $300 free slot play, second prize. Nobody's giving that out during the football season. Keep that in mind. Everybody's just promoting you to flood their contests. Oh, enter our contest. Here, we're telling you to bet, beat us while you're betting, and we're also going to feed you.
Dwayne Colucci, everybody. DC, pleasure as always. We'll see you again next week.
Thanks, guys. Love joining you. And cash some tickets, Alex and Jeff. That's what it's about.
We're trying our best. We'll hope for the best here tonight with the Eagles and the Cowboys. When we get back, we have NFL Power Rankings. We're also going to look at the MVP market. And, of course, our thoughts. Tonight's game, Cowboys-Eagles, to open up the 2025 season. When we get back, Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
If you're celebrating a special occasion or just love fine dining, you're in the right place. Come experience the crown jewel of South Point restaurants, Michael's Gourmet Room.
Welcome.
With over 600 different types of wines and magnificent dishes prepared tableside, you'll revel in the rich classic Vegas decor and the best black tie service in the world. This intimate gourmet room has earned accolades galore. Come to Michael's Gourmet Room for an unforgettable dining experience. Another famous restaurant is the Silverado Steakhouse, where you'll find the charm and service that discerning patrons require. From top quality steaks and chops to fresh seafood and desserts, you'll love the award-winning wine list and menu at Silverado Steakhouse. Steak lovers have even more options with primarily prime rib. Catering to hearty appetites, the menu features a variety of flavorful prime rib cuts, dry aged to ensure tenderness, and then seasoned and slowly roasted. Although prime rib is our specialty, it's not the only thing on the menu. There's something for everyone.
This is speed. This is winning. This is losing. This is NASCAR in Las Vegas, the South Point 400, a NASCAR playoff race, October 10th through 12th. Get your tickets now.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Jeff Parles, Alex White. Big thanks to our guy DC as always. Opening night in the NFL. Alex, we've been doing our conference-related power rankings all week, and right here, we're going to give you our exact top 10 going into the season. And you know what? Our lists are a little bit different, even though we have a similarity at the top here, Alex White.
Well, the biggest difference in mine, and I'm kind of just counting them out right now, but only 4 teams from the AFC, so very heavy on the NFC for me this year. But I'll go ahead and start it off from the top with the Super Bowl champions from last year, the Philadelphia Eagles. While we do have some question marks in their secondary, they lose Slay and Gardner Johnson, but I think they're going to be okay. I still think they have a loaded team. So power rating wise, number 1. Number 2 is Baltimore Raven. I keep talking about them, but I do think that their roster is right up there with the very best in the Eagles, and my number 3 with the Lions. I think these are the top 3 teams in the NFL. And then, of course, there's the Kansas City Chiefs. And this isn't just because of their winning nature and the culture they have there, but it is power rated team wise. I do think that they have added enough pieces. I'm excited to see this offense turn it around from last year. So number 4, Kansas City Chiefs. That is 2-2 so far. Slight different. If you did watch our separate AFC and NFC, going back last night and looking over the numbers, it didn't fully add in my Micah Parsons. So now Green Bay is jumping the Commanders, and that is why they fall in right here at number 5. I like this roster. It's been building for years, and now I think they might be complete here. Number 6, slightly ahead of the Buffalo Bills, Denver Broncos sneak in there. I think they just have one of, if not the top defense in the league. So they are at number 6. There are some question marks on offense, but I actually like the additions they made, especially in the running back room. So we'll see how that plays out. Number 7, Buffalo Bills. While I do think they had made some changes on defense, it should be better. I still question the pass catchers for Josh Allen, who is one of the best in the leagues. We'll see how James Cook can do, if he can keep that running game going here this year. Number 8, Washington Commanders. Huge jump from last year. I'd be curious to see where I had them going into the season, but I think they are for real. I don't think it was a one-off year. Jaden Daniels is the real deal, and I like the changes they made on the defensive side. Tampa Bay Buccaneers, I think they could even be a little higher for me. I am very high on this Bucs team, returning 10 out of 11 starters on offense, and should have all 11 once injury. So I really like what Baker Mayfield has done here, and I like their draft picks here, too, to just enhance this roster. And then the San Francisco 49ers, may be slightly high on them. We'll see what we get from their young guys. It is kind of a rebuild here, but I like the way that they draft and they have over the years. CMC is back. Brock Purdy, I think he can run this offense. So Niners right there, and then right behind them would be the Vikings and the Rams, very close.
For my end, for the top 10, we agree at number 1. I don't think there's any real argument at this point against Philadelphia being at the top of the list. You just they're the best roster. They're the defending champs. I know that you have Baltimore super high as well, as you said, at number 2. But it's Philly and then a little bit of a gap to the big 3 in the AFC, who I have, again, just separated. They're all very similar. I know the market disagrees with me on Buffalo being the top team in the AFC, but slightly ahead of Kansas City, who I have slightly ahead of Baltimore. And then there's another gap again for Detroit. And again, even though I don't have the Lions having the best of years, I do have them making the playoffs, but they come in at number 5. They're still very talented. It's just a question of coordinators for me more than anything. And then 6 through 10 is really even. I have the Bengals slightly ahead of Denver, and Mini Dar can't tell me I don't like the Broncos this year. I have them in the top 7 going into the year. They're at 7, and it was awfully close. It was very close. We talked about this with the AFC rankings, that I almost had Denver ahead of them entering the season anyway, but Bengals slightly ahead of Denver, just that offense. I can't quit them. Can't quit that Cincy offense, which we'll even talk about a little bit further in a few moments. And then 8 through 13 is really close because I have the Rams, the Packers, and the Commanders all right there. You can argue, like we talked about yesterday, for me, it's more Chicago, more so than anyone. But again, Minnesota and the Niners are all right there as well. It is very tight. I'm surprised I actually had 50-50. I did not anticipate having this as a 50-50. Also, Tampa is well close. And can't forget the Bucs, who have a legitimate path to the 1 seed in that weak division in the NFC South.
And then, of course, I did forget the Bengals and the Texans are right up there for me, too. I like how you did do that 8 through 13. Yeah, those 2 AFC are very close to making the top 10.
Again, I think that there's not at the top. I think you can differentiate. If you really, again, Philadelphia, to me, clearly the best team going in. Doesn't necessarily mean they're going to win the Super Bowl again, Alex, but they're clearly the best team going in after, even with the losses on defense. But there's a lot of variance, a lot more variance than it feels like this year coming into the NFL season. Not quite college variance where we legitimately could see 10, 12 teams win a national championship. It's probably closer to 6, maybe 7, based off of what you have with Buffalo down at 7 here.
That's true. Yeah, 7 right there. That's where I wear. You never know with the Niners because.
Well, it's NFC Championship game or miss the playoffs, right?
That's right.
With the Niners.
But Philadelphia, of course. I mean, they're the best in the trenches, right?
Yeah.
So I think that just kind of puts them in that number 1 spot, and we'll see how they look tonight against their favorite opponent in the Dallas Cowboys.
Yeah, again, I think a pretty good draw for Philly that they got the Cowboys as opposed to some other draw. You could have got Washington, which would have been a little more difficult.
Yeah. Could
have gotten any of those division winners. Got a pretty good draw tonight with Dallas. We'll break that game further in a few moments, but there you go, 8.5. You see still the number here at the South Point. The MVP market real quick, Alex, because we haven't really talked about this other than a little bit here and there in our individual team previews. I would love to see a path for someone outside of the top 4. I just don't really see it. You know, it's also interesting that Jordan Love, because of the Micah Parsons trade, has gotten shorter all the way down to 16-1 now, which, all right, sure. Why not? I again, even though I did move Green Bay up myself, I think some in the market are well, more so just this in the futures market. It's gotten a little bit out of hand, especially when there's health questions with Parsons. But Alex, I don't really see a path for anyone outside the top 4 unless if someone's coming from down the board in a shocking fashion to win the MVP. I think you and I agree on who that guy down the board would be, and we're looking at the guy down in Tampa Bay.
That's right. And I really struggle with, even picking guys off the board for these award things. I'm so number-based, and, you kind of got to put a lot of thought into this. But I did put Baker Mayfield on my board here for a long shot in taking him for the MVP, and that's because just with what going through the season and looking at their schedule and thinking they have a pretty favorable schedule and could even get that 1 seed, then that would mean Baker Mayfield would have to have an outstanding year, kind of like he did last year. He put up some really good numbers, and if he can do that again and Tampa Bay get the 1 seed, I think there's a realistic shot for him being the MVP. So it's hard for me to choose of the top 4, like you said, going into the season. As much as I like the Ravens, I feel like I like them more being a full team and a full offense and it not having to fall so much on Lamar Jackson. And I think that's where you're kind of opposite, where we've seen it happen with this team, and one guy really have to put the team on their back.
Yeah, and I'll just say this. Jackson should have won the award last year. As great as Josh Allen was last year, Lamar Jackson was better.
Well, number-wise, right?
Yeah, I thought so.
That's where it gets weird, because then it's MVP.
But it's also again, I think there was some voter fatigue there as well. Allen hadn't won it, which is why I lead myself to Joe Burrow here, where of the big four in the AFC, he's the only one who hasn't won it. Mahomes has 2, Jackson has 2, Allen has 1 now. That's why, and again, it all depended on what you think of the Bengals. As I've said 2 days ago, I can't quit this team despite 2 straight playoff misses and a horrible and a defense that, look, was horrible last year. It doesn't look particularly great again this year, but you have to expect a little bit of positive regression. But Burrow's my pick. Down the board, the only 2 guys I'd look at would be Baker Mayfield. We talked about it throughout yesterday. The Bucs have a legitimate path to the number 1 seed. The only question with him is third play caller in 3 years. Does that hurt him? And then the other one, I'm not going to like myself when this blows up in my face, is Caleb Williams. I have the Bears winning. There we go. See, Ryan, I got someone's attention back there. But I have the Bears winning the NFC North. And if the Bears do indeed win the NFC North, what happened more likely than not? Caleb Williams took a huge step forward in order for this team to win what you and I both think is the best division in football. So that's kind of like a little like, again, I don't think Caleb Williams is going to get there. I think Burrow is going to have another monster year, and that's why he's going to win the MVP. But Caleb Williams is the only other guy on the only guy on that right side of the board that makes sense to me. I guess you can make the argument for Goff and Stafford. I just think the Lions are going to be way too well-rounded for Goff in order to win it. And Stafford, the back injury scares the hell out of me, as I said yesterday. So, yeah, those are my 3. Burrow is the short shot. Mayfield's the medium shot. Williams is the long shot for me today. And I definitely got Ryan McCormick's attention with that.
Hey, you've already been with the Bears, you know, that they could make the playoffs. So you kind of got to just ride it full on. You got Coach of the Year, potential MVP, and then making the playoffs.
Well, Alex, are you ready to reveal who we have lifting the Lombardi Trophy?
Yes, I am.
At the end of the year. And I'll go first here, Alex. And, I think we're going to have the same conference, but different champions here. And look, I'm a Jet fan. You know this if you've watched this show, and this pains me to do this. But the Buffalo Bills' schedule gives them such a big advantage this year going into the year. And they need to win week 1. I don't want to overreact. I usually don't overreact to week 1 in this day and age where guys don't play in the preseason. It's almost a glorified preseason game. And neither Jackson or Allen played in the preseason this year. But if the Bills win week 1, the path is there to win 14 games, and that should be enough to win the AFC's 1 seed, which then makes everyone come to Buffalo.
Yeah.
And I also have Kansas City not even getting to a game against Buffalo in the playoffs. So advantage Buffalo. They don't have to play the team that they can't beat. I have the Bills over the Rams. I have them winning it all, finally busting through. Allen wins the Super Bowl. The franchise finally gets his first one. I have Buffalo winning it all. I also gave my awards on the bottom real quick, just quick hitters, because I know we mentioned these when we were talking through the individual teams. Burrow's the MVP. Chase is the offensive player. Crosby, big year in Vegas where the Raiders compete for the playoffs, defensive player of the year. Cam Ward, offensive rookie, because I don't think a running back's going to win it. And then Abdul Carter, as I talked about on the Giant preview. I would be floored if he doesn't win Defensive Rookie of the Year this year, Alex.
That's right. Okay, I'll go through mine. Very good. I am going with, which I don't think anybody will be shocked here. And you make a great point. It does make me nervous because I do like the regular season for the Bills. That means could be less injuries. They stay healthy. And that's kind of what it all comes down to in the NFL. They don't have the easiest of schedules, but I love their roster. And I think that this is the year that Lamar Jackson gets his Super Bowl. I haven't put on there Super Bowl MVP here for Lamar Jackson. So I also think it's a great year to be a Lion. I think all the attention is on the Bears and the Vikings and the Packers now. And I think they're going to kind of quietly sneak into the playoffs, not have all these expectations, not be the 1 seed, win the NFC, and then eventually lose to the Ravens in the Super Bowl. I give the coaching advantage to Harbaugh there. This I'm probably not making any bets on these, but just kind of looking down the list, we talked about Baker Mayfield. I think that's a good value bet there. MVP, Offensive Player of the Year, CMC. I got to imagine he is back and healthy. He missed way too much of the season last year. He has had so much time. I want to see old CMC, and if they're going to make it to the playoffs, he's got to have one of those crazy years because they don't have a lot of weapons around Brock Purdy. Defensive Player of the Year, Aiden Hutchinson. I also like him for Comeback Player of the Year, but I think he's going to help the Lions get to this spot there. And then Offensive Player of the Year, I did put Cam Ward, or if you want to go down the board, kind of playing into how I have this season going. Tampa Bay having a big year. Godwin maybe taking a little bit of extra time to come back. And Emeka Egbuka winning the Offensive Player of the Year there.
Ibuka's a good one down the board on the offensive rookie, especially. We're all high on Baker Mayfield this year. Egbuka could very easily, if Godwin takes a while to return, could end up being the number 2 receiver long range here this year. And even when Godwin comes back, he may still be the number 2 receiver for a little bit until Godwin gets fully back into the mix in Tampa Bay.
Oh.
All right. They're the Super Bowl odds. The Buffalo Bills and the Philadelphia Eagles are your betting favorites entering today as the NFL season gets going in Philadelphia tonight at 8:20 local time in the city of brotherly love. All right. We're going to take a quick break. When we get back, our picks for tonight, we'll look at the prop market as well. Also, we didn't forget baseball. Don't worry, 6 games. We'll quick hit them at the end of the program. Cowboys-Eagles preview when we get back. Sports by the Book, South Point Studio.
South Point is also proud to provide a variety of relaxing amenities for the guests who want to be pampered. Soak up the sun and let your stress melt away in our lagoon-style Paradise swimming pool. A relaxing getaway where you can bask in the desert sun and enjoy seasonal food and bar service poolside. And if you really want to escape, come to Spa Costa del Sur. From couple suites to a co-ed wet area, our spa caters to business and leisure travelers who want to unwind and elevate their senses. A visit to one of our spa's steam, sauna, or whirlpool treatment rooms will leave any guest feeling like they can take on the world. Once you've satisfied your hunger, get ready for more of the hottest casino games in Vegas. Our 24-hour, 30-table non-smoking poker room proudly hosts all the most popular poker games with a variety of betting limits. Visit the poker room for a schedule of daily tournaments. Whether you're going to hold 'em or fold 'em, the best place for poker is at South Point Casino. You'll notice that our craps tables are usually the loudest in the casino. If you've never played, join one of our free craps lessons to find out what makes this game so exciting. Check with the craps dealer for schedules and give it a roll. Bingo is also an exciting way to spend your time. We offer 7 sessions of bingo every day. Bingo! And each session includes a cash ball jackpot, 12 bingo games, a progressive double action game, and a $10,000 bonus coverall. Electronic units are available. If you haven't played bingo with us, give it a try today. Guests can also get in on the action at our one-of-a-kind race and sports books. 2 separate rooms designed to maximize your experience and comfort. Our sports book, with over 400 seats, puts you right in the middle of the action, 24 hours a day. The friendly ticket writers are happy to help, and it's conveniently located next to the famous Del Mar Deli, where you'll find supersized portions of delicious deli items like roast beef, pastrami, and Reuben sandwiches, or soups, salads, and pizza, plus spectacular desserts fit for a king. And right next door is the race book, over 150 seats, each with its own TV screen. There are 16 interactive player terminals, so you can bet right from your seat.
Welcome back in Sports by the Book, South Point Studio. Opening night in the NFL. We get to our picks momentarily, but Alex, the chat is active here today.
As I just put that down, yes, we appreciate all of you being in here. And Attila did give what he likes for the game. Anytime touchdown for Devonta Smith, plus money line for the Eagles, plus 225. Can't hate on that at all. Smith just makes me nervous. It makes me nervous to pick a weapon for the Eagles because they have so many. And whether you're going with Saquon or Smith or A.J. Brown, of course, but it's worth a shot, I would say. Daryl, Raiders and Packers getting too much hype. I'd have to agree with that. Now I'm getting nervous about picking the Raiders. It is a very popular dog this week. A little comment about OU crushing Michigan. He said go blue as well in there, so must be a fan. And then a $5 super chat. Thank you so much to Joseph Frida. We appreciate you. We appreciate all the comments here today. Don't know if trivia has already gone up.
It has, yes.
For the day. Okay.
Yep. We already have a winner, which we'll get to a little bit later. More video daily doubles, right?
Yes.
Video daily doubles here today. All right. Let's go to Philadelphia for tonight. The Eagles and the Cowboys do battle yet again. Week 1 National Football League season. Alex, we talked about it with Dwayne. This number has gone not only through 7, it's gone through 8 here at the South Point and the Rampart. You have 8 at other shops. There were some 9s out there. 7 at the opener to 8.5, 46.5 to 48 on the total for this one here tonight.
It's really hard. I mean, even looking back at last year, Dak did not play in either game against the Eagles. So all of the numbers looking to compare, we got Cooper Rush going in both of those. It makes me nervous as much as I like Dallas's offense. I like the addition of George Pickens, and of course they have CeeDee Lamb and Dak coming back. I mean, they're going up against one of the best defensive coordinators in Vic Fangio, and we saw what he did last year with Philadelphia, and it just worries me to even try and bet on the Cowboys or the over. So I'm not going to touch the total, even though my number is higher, and we brought up the question marks with the Eagles secondary too, so Dak have a little bit of success here, I think so. And then the sidewise, I did make the Eagles 10, getting that home field. Think they are power rated that much higher than the Cowboys going into the season. But they're also professional athletes, and I can't get that out of my mind. And I think they're going to be dead set on coming in here and, giving it their all and kind of showing they don't really need Micah Parsons, and they're more than just that one defensive player here. So I think, if I were to play it, Jeff, I'd probably jump in and tease this up instead of even teasing it down, which makes me a little nervous because I always worry about the Super Bowl hangover and how much is this game won. I'd rather tease the Cowboys up and get as many points as I could for them to keep this a 2-score game.
Yeah, I don't see this being an absolute destruction, even though if we came in tomorrow morning and said Philadelphia won 38-17, would we be overly floored? Not particularly. That Dallas defense, even with Parsons, looked like it could have had some issues going in to the year. I would only, though, take Dallas plus the points at this rate. You can't lay a bad number with Philadelphia. I guess you're technically in the teaser zone still, but you are getting the worst of the teaser number now at 2 or 2.5 with Philadelphia. You could have got 1.5 all summer long. Really, actually 1 all summer long. And a total feels right. I get why the market's betting it over here today, just because look at the Dallas defense. It looks awful. And I think and this is the one interesting thing that's happening, at least for me, at least how I look at week 1 this year. Alex, we talked about in the past, almost always defense ahead of offense in week 1. I think it's almost reversed this year in the NFL, where the offenses are going to be ahead of the defenses. Like there are almost half the games on the card to me. It's like, I hate both of these defenses. Yeah. And I'm not sure how they're going to look week 1 where they haven't really tackled other than a few preseason games here and there, like Carolina-Jacksonville is one of those games. Tampa-Atlanta is one of those games. I'm not sure if this one fully fits into that category because I like Philadelphia's defense. Still think they're, at worst, the 3rd best defense in the NFL coming into the year. But Dallas is so bad defensively, and they're going to need their offense in order to realistically win and stay in a lot of games this year. So nothing on the total, would only be Dallas plus the points at this moment.
The other point with that, Jeff, is the Eagles have gotten very good, and it's the first game, so it might take them a couple games again, but very good at getting a lead in the first half, and then the second half, bring in Saquon Barkley, they even have 2 new running backs behind him, so a pretty solid running back room for them. And just slow the game down, right? Eat up the clock and, slow the drives down, take up as much time as they can. So try not to give Dak the ball back. So that kind of worries me too in the second half. And and then you feel like you're on pace for that over, and it kind of just dies out. Or very slow moving first half and don't even get the points there, and then maybe can jump in on a better number. But prep-wise, I still don't trust Dallas running the football, so the only way I would look at it if it was Dak Prescott receptions or Dak Prescott passing attempts. That's what I will be on tonight, is trying to target Dak and the passing game that they have.
Well, looking at those quarterback props here tonight, again, Jalen Hurts. It's so funny looking at some of these numbers for Hurts. I mean, Hurts is pushing $1.50 in the anytime touchdown market, which is, and that's laying minus 150. That's not plus 150. That is laying the market. Again, we kind of know if the ball gets to the 1 yard line, we know what's going to happen here. By the way, the yellow, those are Chris Andrews and the South Point's numbers out there today. The other color is DraftKings here on these graphics. You know, all I'll tell you, Alex, I think there's 2 quarterback props, and you just said completions and attempts was what you were looking at for Prescott. I agree with you on attempts. There's no run game to speak of for Dallas. There just isn't. The running back room is a joke. We expect Javonte Williams to be the number 1 back, but okay, he was mediocre running back in Denver here at the beginning portion of his career.
500 yards.
It's just not a great running back. I think this is going to be throw. And also they're probably going to be chasing this game as well. Yep. Over 36.5 feels pretty good, even though that is a very high number for attempts. But all the materials are there for a 40 attempt day for Dak. So that's my favorite one between the 2 quarterbacks here today. I can't lay $1.50 on the Hurts anytime touchdown, even though it's probably going to be okay, Alex.
No, where are we looking for Hurts' attempts? Because
you're 26.5 on Jalen Hurts' attempts tonight, Alex.
that is pretty crazy. 10 less.
10 less.
I would only be looking more under there.
Well, we know what the Eagles want to do.
That's right.
They were the number 1 running team in the NFL last year, and they ended up winning a Super Bowl because of it, and we expect them to be near the top yet again here in 2025. And the man who is responsible for most of it, Mr. Barkley, 19.5 rushing attempts is the number for Saquon tonight. 96.5 rushing yards. Basically, that is as high as you're ever going to basically see in a week 1 game. Yes. Almost approaching 100 on Saquon Barkley. Alex, anything stands out here with, again, you have A.J. Brown with 4.5 receptions, juice to the over. Devontae Smith, also 4.5 receptions, juice to the under. And then both of those guys, 69.5 on the receiving yards for A.J. Brown and 53.5 on the Devontae Smith ones.
I mean, I know it is juice to the over for a reason, but I could see them trying to get A.J. Brown involved early in this season and get him happy. So that would be the only one I would look at there. It's over his 4.5.
And then on the Dallas end, by the way, I don't really like anything skill position wise on the Philly end. I'm a little bit concerned on that. We'll look at the anytime touchdown market a little bit later, and that would be where I'll probably hop in tonight. On the Dallas end, see, Ryan didn't even list a running back, and correctly so here tonight for the Dallas Cowboys. Of course, first game is for Pickens down there as the number 2 wide receiver. CeeDee Lamb, of course, looked at as one of the 3 best receivers in the NFL coming into the year. 6.5 on his receptions. By the way, if you're here in Vegas, South Point is the best number on his receptions. It's a plus number on the over if you think he's going to have a big night. If you like the under, there are better numbers out there. 75.5 on the receiving yards for CD, 4.5 for Pickens on receptions, 55.5 on the receiving yards, and then Ferguson's 3.5 over heavy juice on the over, and then 37.5 yards receiving for Jake Ferguson.
Again, if I were to pick out of those 3, I'd probably go for George Pickens. They're kind of with the same reason of A.J. Brown, making him happy, getting him involved in their offensive plan early on to start the season. So, yeah, 4.5 feels like a pretty light number there for a wide receiver coming in that has pretty high expectations.
I'm really intrigued to see how Pickens looks tonight. If we're looking at any individual Dallas player, he's going to be the boomer bust guy now. He's not a number 1 wide receiver anymore. He's one of the better number 2s in the NFL now, if not the best number 2 in the NFL. But how's he going to react? He's always been the number 1 guy. In Georgia and now, of course, in Pittsburgh, he was basically the number 1 guy his whole time there. Okay. And volatile personality. Curious to see how he reacts. Is again not the go-to guy, but he's not going to see the opposing team's best corners anymore, which could also work in his favor. Anytime touchdown market. Ryan and I had talked about this a lot a year ago on these primetime games. Oh,
Are we
boy.
going value?
I don't really love anything down the board here tonight, except if you want to get creative and see which books are willing to let you parlay this. Kevontae Turpin and the Dallas special teams and defense are almost the same bet. Because do you see Dallas's defense scoring a touchdown tonight realistically? Probably not, even though, again, their corners, as we know, with Bland and Diggs are monster boomer bust guys, very capable with that. But I wonder if you can get like a same game parlay, if the books would be willing to let you do Turpin and the Dallas defense and special teams together.
Wow.
Because essentially the same thing. If Dallas' special teams is scoring a touchdown tonight, Kevontae Turpin's going to be the one scoring it. Now, be very careful what the number is because I'm sure the books that allow the same game parlays are going to be hyper aware of that essentially being a similar bet on all these Dallas games this year with Turpin and the Dallas defense / special teams. But Kevontae Turpin is the guy I would look for the long range here tonight. That would be the only one. Maybe even a shot on Jaden Blue, who could very easily get goal line carries for the Cowboys tonight. We don't really know what the Cowboy mix is going to be for the running backs.
No, we don't.
At the goal line. So those would be the long bombs. The favorite, again, I mentioned it earlier, it would be Jalen Hurts, even though, again, I really do not love laying that sort of number on an anytime touchdown, Alex.
I would love the Phillies defense as well and special teams, but I don't know if that number is high enough.
I don't think it is.
475.
Should be 6-1 at least.
Yeah. But otherwise, yeah, that would be a fun little long shot there. But it'll be interesting. Either of the running backs behind Saquon, or we don't necessarily know we're going to see enough of them yet.
It's just tough with those guys, right? Like with Philadelphia, you know what's happening when the ball gets to the 1 yard line.
Right.
Jalen Hurts is going to score from the 1 yard line on the first play. I don't see any red zone carries for anyone but Barkley tonight. So like you're kind of like, that's kind of the tough thing with these long range Eagle running backs. Like Barkley either has to get hurt, which obviously we're not rooting for, or it's a total beatdown.
That's right.
Like that's how Will Shipley got his ridiculous monster price home in the NFC Championship game last year.
That's right.
Game was a complete beatdown. So I'd be very careful with the long range Eagles guys. It would be Turpin on the long range for Dallas, and then again Jalen Hurts on the short range for me. All right, that's what we got here for tonight.
I'll put the Cowboys teased up to 14.5 on the board and Dak Prescott in passing attempts.
Yeah, we'll get to the whiteboard in a second. Let's hit baseball on the way out the door here, Alex. 6 games here today, and we begin with a big one in Milwaukee where the Brewers finish off their series against the Phillies. Brewers last night get it done 6-3 to knock that series at 1, clinch the season series on Philadelphia as well. So now the Brewers have the season series clinched against everyone that is in the NL playoff picture except for the Cubs and the Padres. Cubs have clinched that. Padres, of course, have to play another series against Milwaukee later this month. Brewers in command, 5 games clear of Philadelphia with the tiebreak. It is a great pitching matchup. Suarez and Peralta. Freddie's a -115 favorite with a total of 7.5, Alex.
Which makes it a little difficult here to even handicap. I mean, I lean to taking that plus price here with the Phillies. It makes me nervous going against the Brewers. I mean, I think Ranger Suarez is slightly better than Freddie Peralta, but he's had a great year. But I do think the Phillies play well when he is on the bump. And his road starts, I mean, his median number is 1 earned run, 7 innings pitched. So if he can do that and slow down this Milwaukee offense, then I think you got to have a real shot there with bullpens being pretty even as well. So it would be Phillies or pass for me in this one.
Next up, what a pitching matchup in Pittsburgh. Paul Skeens, Blake Snell. The Pirates have started winning Skeens starts of late, which was a rarity early in the year. They've won actually 7 straight games. Skeens has started now. So there you go. -120 on the Dodgers, actually favored in this game with Snell. Skeens +105. Total 7. Pirates going for the 3-game sweep. Dodgers have been awful in this series in Pittsburgh.
It's pretty incredible, isn't it? And the Dodgers -120. I mean, even though it is Paul Skeens, but I don't think you should be laying a price here with the Dodgers. They're just not consistent. So it would only be Pirates +105 or pass. I mean, you have the league's best pitcher going. So it's not like you're really taking a shot in the dark here. You got a real shot at actually getting this one. And I lost with 2 favorites yesterday. So the dogs are barking right now, Jeff. It's been a little tough. So far, I like both dogs in the Phillies and the Pirates.
Up next, Alex, let's go to Tampa. We'll be quick here. The Rays have actually gotten themselves back in the wild card chase, amazingly enough, after just bombarding Seattle 3 straight games. Mariners, again, getting fortunate yesterday that the Rangers just don't want to take full advantage of that sweep that Tampa put on them. So Tampa's, again, close, only 2.5 behind now, the Seattle Mariners in that wild card chase. They throw Pepe out tonight against Logan Allen, -160 on Tampa, Alex.
And nothing for me in this one. I do think the Rays are the rightful favorite here. I don't really trust Ryan Pepiot, so if anything, I'd probably jump in at Cleveland first 5, see what kind of price we can get there. Plus 145, maybe check with the run line, getting half a run. Because the Guardians, I mean, they haven't been a pushover either. So another dog that I would be leaning to here, but I don't love going against the Rays in this 6-game winning streak either.
Going to Kansas City next. Royals, well, and the Rays as well. Both of those teams with wins will be 2 games behind the Mariners, who are off today. Noah Cameron, Kyle Hendricks, -150 on Kansas City in this one, Alex.
I think all the numbers are just right here. -150 for the Royals. 9 total. Lean a little bit to the over. I think both guys can give up some runs, but nothing definite in this.
To Minnesota, we'll be quick here. Twins are -150. Bradley and Ellard, your pitching matchup. White Sox and Twins wrap up their series.
Oh, it would only be a fade of Tage Bradley here. 7.20 ERA and a 1.4 whip for him. I do think that the White Sox have been pretty competitive. 1-4 in a row, Chicago has. So if you're riding that and getting good plus numbers here, which the last 2 days were, got to go right back to it, plus 135.
Last on the board, chaos in Houston so far in this series. Astros take game 2. Yankees take game 1. Controversial ending yesterday in that one as well. Yankees -135 with Rodon against Christian Javier is plus 120 for the Astros.
I think you got to take this one. I'm 0-2 in this series.
I am not
so
touching
far.
this. I am not touching this game. But fade what would either of us have to say in this series. So
well, I was thinking over. So if you want to fade that and go with the under, but
yeah, I don't know what to do here. It's been a rough series. We both love Houston on game 1. You like the Yankees on the run line yesterday.
And
it just did not work out. All right, as Alex gets the whiteboard set here, let's start with the poll here for tonight. Which of these wide receivers will be the first to score a touchdown tonight? CeeDee Lamb, A.J. Brown, George Pickens, Devontae Smith, and I'm surprised, Devontae Smith, 50% of the vote tonight. So Devontae Smith, you guys like a long shot of the 4 here to be the first one to score of those 4. All right. I see where we're heads at, Chad. I see where we're at. Smith at 50%, Pickens at 25%. You just went with the juicier looking numbers here tonight. I like it here on this one. All right. Daily Double video version here today. Last week on the show, which team did Sammy P say is the one team he'd bet to win the 2026 college football playoff? And in which betting order would he rank the SEC, Big Ten, and ACC in terms of the conference to win the national championship? Which conference will win the national championship? SEC is the betting favorite at plus 135, Big Ten at plus 140, the ACC at 10-1, Notre Dame plus the G5 at 10-1, and then the Big 12 at 20-1 to win the college football national championship. What do you like here, Sam, if anything?
So it is interesting because I did bet Clemson. That was the only bet I've made, and this is a couple months ago, and they were at a number bigger than 10-1. I think Clemson's the only team I would bet. I would rank them this way in terms of the way I would bet them. I'd put ACC number 1, I'd put the SEC 2, and the Big Ten number 3.
There you go. That's what our friend Sammy P said on the show last week, and our good buddy JR has tied Nick.
Wow.
2-2. The battle.
Getting competitive again, yep.
Ali Frazier, Yankees, Red Sox, JR and Nick in ticker trivia, doing battle yet again here in the month of September. All right.
This is it for me today. Going through the baseball. I do Man, I am tempted to take the Pirates and or the White Sox at the plus price, but I'm not going to put them on the board. It would be a small flyer. So for me, I am going to tease the Cowboys up 14.5. Probably with the Lions, to be honest. 2.5 for them against the Packers. I'll get them up to 8.5 and tied it with the Cowboys. Remember, with teasers, you do have to pay a lot more than in the past, so the value's not fully there. So we'll talk about when we think it's the best to do it, but also first few weeks aren't necessarily the best either because the numbers aren't the tightest and the best yet. But 14.5 feels pretty good to me. Dak over 36.5 attempts. I like attempts better than completions. I do think that they will be chasing and he'll throw a lot.
Dallas 8.5 is the only thing I'd consider tonight. Going to see if it gets a little higher before hopping in, but if you tell me tomorrow Philly won big and I look stupid, yeah, it wouldn't shock me on this one. But this Dallas defense is awful. And it's my biggest concern here tonight with taking even, again, a big, big number for an opening night game. In division, too. In division dog. In division dogs are usually pretty darn good, Alex. So
standalone, too.
Yeah, it feels like a ton of points here with the Cowboys and the Eagles. All right.
I wish it wasn't the worst of the total because I could do same game teaser here.
I don't have an issue with if you wanted to go 42.
I don't hate that.
If you can find a 47.5, go 41.5. That's not too bad.
Yeah.
As well. All right. That's what we got for you. This has been Sports by the Book here at the South Point studio. Our tomorrow, 2 shows. 10 a.m., regular show, Football Frenzy on a Friday at noon. Myself, Alex White, Chris Andrews, Vinny Maliulo, getting you ready for week 2 in college football and week 1 in the NFL tomorrow at noon right here on the Sports by the Book channel. Coming your way later today, also Gone Racing. Brendan Gone, Jeff Motley, get you ready for the best in NASCAR, getting you ready for the weekend ahead in the NASCAR circuit. She's Alex White. I'm Jeff Parles. We'll see you again tomorrow. Sports by the Book, 10 and noon tomorrow right here at the South Point studio.